Hello, my name's Karina, your unit coordinator, and for some of you, your ELA. Welcome to our second flipped assessment recording. The feedback from assignment 1 was positive around this type of format, so we've continued it on for assessment 2. However, please contact me if you're not finding it suits your learning style, and I'll see if I can help you in another way. The concept of this tool is to provide you with this recording prior to the live session. And that allows you time to consider the information provided and then come along to the live session armed with all your questions and so we can make some clarifications. We'll be discussing the preparation for assessment 2, which is an essay. So your essay contributes to 40% of your final mark. The word count's 2,000 words plus or minus 10%. So that means your assignment should be between 1,800 and 2,200 words. And it's an exposition essay format. And this will be due on Monday, the 9th of May at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Okay. This assessment task requires you to critically evaluate issues of bias, stereotypes, gender, and equity with respect to how they apply to yourself and others in learning environments. The purpose of this task is to enable you to develop a deeper understanding of the complex socio-cultural factors and theoretical perspectives around human rights, diversity, equity, and social justice, which impact on the lives of students and teachers. So notice here the keywords are critically evaluate. This essay is really asking you to do some in-depth research into bias, stereotypes, gender, and equity, and how this impacts on the lives of students and teachers, so yourself and others in learning environments. So you're using the essay topic as your focus point or example in order to highlight complex socio-cultural factors. We'll look at that in a few slides. It's really important that you're thinking deeper and you're researching wider. So the learning materials, but also wider research and extending this to include teaching and learning practices. And these would be inclusive teaching and learning practices. And the wider impact with regards to human rights, diversity, equity, and social justice. So it's quite a big one. That's why it's a lot of words, 2,000 words, because there's a lot to cover. So as part of the essay, will be responding to the following, and everyone will be doing the same one. Discuss the issues of bullying and conflict in relation to learning about gender and other forms of equity and the implications these have for students and teachers. So in your response, we want you to critically reflect on your learning experiences and the bias and stereotypes within yourself and others. As you will reflect on your own experience, you may write your response using first person, that's fine. However, you will need to use relevant research to support your discussion. So it's not just a reflection, it's an essay, but you can do this or parts of it in first person because you are reflecting on your own experiences. So, the assessment criteria. Understanding of the broader social context in which education operates. I've just popped in here, it's just a little quick read that might get you thinking in this area. So what a broader social context in which education operates, and that's actually quite huge. So we want you to have a bit of an understanding of, what's involved and what's coming to the classroom and how difficult that is for educators. So knowledge, number 2, is the knowledge and analysis of key themes. So the key themes in this essay are gender and equity, bias and stereotypes. So within your essay, you need to provide evidence that you have this and how they relate to inclusive teaching and learning practices. So you need to relate this to practice or inclusive practice. You need to have evidence of reading to inform and support analysis. And number 4, you need to have structure and organisation of your ideas. So your written expression, including spelling, punctuation, grammar, and referencing according to APA conventions. So your structure. It's an exposition where you thoroughly expose the inner workings of a topic and teach the reader something new. That's what an exposition is. And it usually contains an introduction paragraph outlining your thesis statement, the problem, topic, and question you are addressing, along with the position you will take when addressing the problem. Should be, usually, your introduction should be about 10% of your essay, which in this sense is 200 words. Then you'll have your body paragraph, typically 3 to 6 paragraphs discussing your statement and using supporting evidence. So it's really crucial in this essay that you do use supporting evidence, because shows that you've done wider reading and that everything that you're writing is supported by scholarly literature. And academic writing needs that. So this is 80% of the essay, and it's approximately 1,600 words. And then you would have a conclusion paragraph, a summary discussion of your essay's key points with recommendations or next steps. And this generally is 10% of your essay, which would be approximately 200 words. Okay, so I'm going to take you over now to the essay details sheet that you'll get on Blackboard. So this is it here. Hopefully you've already looked at this before watching, or you've got it printed out right next to you, so you can highlight all the key points, circle, write, do whatever you need to do. Usually when I have something like this at the end, it's all messy. It's got lots of notes and highlights and things for me to remember. And you'll have your essay topic there. And if you scroll down, you'll come across the additional resources here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fantastic resources to get you started on writing an exposition. And some of this one here is actually quite funny. So they're not all just boring websites. Some of them actually take a bit of a comical view at it. So have a look at all of those before you even start anything, before you even start your research. This would be your first point of call, learning what's involved in this type of essay so that you structure it correctly and you know what type of research you'll need to find. Okay, this is from one of the resources. It's just a diagram of how you would structure your essay. And then we have another one from the Swinburne Online. Your student toolbox has this in here, and it's just got essay structure as well. Just note that the body is the longest part of the essay. Also, some more information on the student toolbox and developing your argument. So your argument is your position or your academic point of view. So what you think, and that's supported by research. It should be coherent, so it needs to have a logical structure. Try not to repeat yourself. Sometimes you can get into a habit of finding a good point and then just writing it in different ways. So make sure when you're reading it that it's just one clear point, and then you'll move on to the next one and you start something else, and then maybe you might link them or compare and contrast. Explain your reasoning. Use evidence, crucial point, and use reason. Okay, make a plan. Okay, so now you know what you're doing and where do you start? You'll need to take a position on your topic, but this is generally come about as a result of your research. That being said, you can plan your essay structure as a first step. Organize the information you need to include. So this might be a brainstorm, mind map, and obviously some of your initial research. When I'm writing an essay, I tend to write the introduction last because I like to just start writing and then come back. But everyone will have their own way of planning out how they write their essay. Just some good tips on the student toolbox there. Okay, academic writing, theory. What is it? We talked about this on the last assessment. This is anything from your learning materials, textbooks, readings, journals, articles, learning theories, anything that you read about, and that is an academic point of view, and then that is what you would use to support your ideas. Have you provided evidence of your knowledge of key topics? So have you mentioned all of these things and provided definitions and your knowledge supported by evidence and theory? Have you linked to inclusive teaching and learning practices? That was one of the points in the assessment criteria. Have you included the learning materials and wider readings and referenced correctly? All these things are a requirement of the essay and you can't pass without them. So we're going to have a little look at the rubric a bit later, but because it is a holistic rubric, you need to have all of the dot points before you can actually pass this essay. So I'll have a look at that in further detail in a moment. I'll just move this recording down. Sorry about that. Have you ensured, in correct punctuation, grammar, and sentence structure, ensuring a professional polish? That is really important as well, and part of your rubric marking. Okay, so you're going to be, as I said before, you'll be marked using a holistic rubric. This simply means that you need to demonstrate each descriptor before you can be considered for a higher grade. So let's take a quick look. I'll scroll back to the assessment details, which obviously you'll be looking at heaps, and let's take a look at this pass grade. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dot points, 5 descriptors. You have to have provided evidence of all of these 5 things to actually pass this assessment. So you need to have an introduction that defines both the topic of the essay and the structure of the essay. So if you just define the topic and you don't have a definition of how you're going to structure it, you can't pass. It's really quite significant. The second dot point, clear definitions or descriptions regarding the key themes. So if you haven't done that within your essay, if you haven't provided definitions and supported this around those key themes of gender, equity, bias and stereotypes, we can't pass you. So a clear structure, this is the third one, that typically signposts key ideas with paragraphs that typically explore one key idea to each. You should be pretty good at that, considering this is a third-year subject, so that one should be fine. Referencing, scholarly and non-scholarly literature with appropriate referencing or citation. So you need to have that referencing in there. You need to be referring to other materials. And yeah, obviously the last one's on spelling, punctuation, grammar, and sentence structure. So to get just a pass, you need to have all of those things. And the same goes for as we move up. You have to reach all of these 5 descriptors before you can be considered for a credit. So even if everything is perfect, for example, in this high distinction, but you haven't provided those clear definitions and descriptions on the key themes, we can't give you any higher. So yeah, it is really crucial that you use this rubric to guide your writing, and use this as a little tick box to say, yep, done that, done that, done that. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Okay, let's move back. Okay, so we submit via Turnitin. And you can see that in part of the Assessment 2 section of Blackboard for more detailed information, and it's due Monday the 9th of May. Please jot down all your questions that you have, and we will go through those in the live session in the next couple of weeks. Your ELA will post that date on the discussion board. So write all those questions down, and especially if you have a look in the rubric and there's some words you don't understand, highlight those and pose those as some of the questions. Otherwise, you can ask questions on your discussion board. Okay, well, best of luck with starting your research, and I'll see you at the live session. Bye.